As Nigeria reels from a surge in mass abductions and rising insecurity, with the United Nations warning that hunger could hit 35 million persons next year, in Washington, the U.S. officials press Abuja over claims of a Christian genocide, a charge that has sparked fierce debate amongst religious leaders and policymakers. And at home, President Bola Tinubu has finally made moves to fill Nigeria's diplomatic vacuum, sending his first set of ambassadorial nominees to the Senate for confirmation. Now, with insecurity rising, global pressure mounting, and diplomacy in transition, can the country steady the ship? This, of course, forms the crux of tonight's conversation. Joining me to discuss this and more, my guest, Adamu Garba, is a former APC presidential aspirant. He joins from Abuja. I also have Dr. Khalifa Abbas, is a public affairs analyst, joining from Abuja, and Professor Emmanuel Ademola, professor of cybersecurity and IT management. Gentlemen, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let me start with you, Dr. Adamu Garba. I mean, interesting times, and really tragic one also in our nation at this point when we look at the state of security and how the country is trying to manage the whole scenario. But I would like your take on what some would describe as a surge in the activities of these bandits and terrorists since the U.S. declaration of Nigeria as a country of particular concern. For you, what does this reflect?
Series of issues that this country has been facing since 2019. That's over 16 years ago, when the issue of Boko Haram started in the northeastern part of Nigeria. Nigerian government has deployed several methods in trying to counter this irregular, unconventional warfare, because these are guerrillas. They don't have identities. They appear within the people and do their bombs and go. So we have deployed series of different strategies, but it appears the terrorists keep getting much more bolder, because from that northeast, it moves to north central, from north central now to northwest, and from northwest, it's moving towards Kwara, going to the south. So when you look at this kind of activity that is taking place, you will see that a nation is in a very serious need of rapid support. And it's unfortunate that we don't manufacture the technology and the weapons needed necessary to push back and fight against this terror. We will have to rely on our foreign partners for these technologies to confront this terror. In fact, in most cases, these terrorists have even much more sophisticated weapons than the weapons that we have in the conventional Nigerian security, because these terrorists have network across the Sahel. If you see the activities of Islamic State in the Greater Sahara, Islamic State in West Africa province, and the Masina Liberation Movement under Ahmadu Kufa, these guys have international linkages. And through these channels, these terrorists are able to have a lot of weapons, automated machine guns, to be able to confront our military. So we will need foreign partners, and that is why it is very important for us to reorganize our relationship in terms of getting the necessary weapons and technology we need to push against them. And one issue, again, that makes them to become much more bolder, especially most recently, is the issue of adaptability. These terrorists, as you can see even on your screen, are using bikes to be moving in narrow areas inside bushes, where to defeat them, you need to adapt. So it means our military also have to develop capabilities in riding on these kind of bikes, getting into their own domain, and be able to destroy them. Some of them are also riding on the open air, but due to lack of technology, reconnaissance technology, to be able to eliminate them is a difficult thing. And that is why seeing that technology capabilities to push against them is getting weak, they are getting much more bolder. And the fact that United States went ahead and named Nigeria as a country of particular concern it gives them much more impetus and morale booster that it seems like they are attracting international attention from a superpower like United States.
So are you saying, so that I can just quickly move from you?
That is why you see much more attack coming forth most recently.
So you are saying that that declaration by the United States is listing Nigeria as a country of particular concern, in a way, sort of emboldening this terrorist or this bandits to want to do more, because for them it appears to be global attention of some sort.
Exactly. Terrorists, the only thing that terrorists want much more is global attention, especially attention of a superpower. If you remember what Boko Haram then did under Abubakar Shekau when they captured these 240 girls, the Chibok girls, the famous Bring Back Our Girls, immediately this thing got global attention. They became so emboldened to the point whereby they have to capture up to 14 local governments in Borno State. You know, so immediately they have global attention. They feel like they are now really very formal and that they are now a potent terror group that the world is even contending with, and it gives them opportunity to push harder.
All right.
Definitely, there is direct connection between the declaration of country of particular concern and the new rise of these terrorist attacks all over the country.
All right, I'm going to direct the same question to Dr. Abbas. Do you think this, in your take, do you think this is also the case for you?
Sorry, come again?
Dr. Abbas, did you get my question?
Not really. Come again.
Okay, so I said that, Adamu Garba said quite a couple of things. Do you think that there is a direct link of some sort with what some would describe as the rise in banditry, terrorist activities and abductions that we are witnessing across the country in lieu of the listing of Nigeria as a country of particular concern by the United States?
Well, to them, it is a plus to them because now they have reason to continue. Now they have reason to do more attacks on people because they have understand that the whole world is actually watching and looking at what they are doing. But to me, it's what Trump said. It has to do with him coming to Nigeria to help Nigerians. But the way he put the word out to them, it's I think why they have more attacks on our people now. Because if you get to understand the whole thing, I have a problem with this whole conversation of a genocide against Christians. If Trump said he's actually coming to Nigeria to help Nigerian citizens as a whole, because to my own understanding, when these attacks are going on, they don't actually get to decide who is from where. All they know is as long as you are at that particular state or that particular location where they're actually operating at that particular time, you're going to get involved in whatever they're going to do. So because of, I think, what he said, they have now more motive to do more attacks within churches, within mosques, so that they want the world to understand, or they want the world to see them as a powerful being, as people that are more powerful than the Nigerian government itself.
All right, let me leave you for a moment and also bring Professor Emmanuel Ademola into this conversation. Professor, I mean, you are a cybersecurity and IT management expert. We are beginning to see how emboldened these terrorists or these bandits are. Some of them even have a presence on social media, and they engage with people. They go live on platforms like TikTok and all. And one question Nigerians have been asking is, I mean, if an average citizen should tweet or type something in the corner of their room against the government or a public official, it will most likely be picked up by the DSS in less than 24 hours. But these guys are coming live on social media platforms, showing their faces, and nothing is happening. I mean, as a cyber tech person, how does this work? What's going on here?
Thank you so much for having me. You see, when there is a fragile state struggling to protect its citizen, or a virtual circle of poverty and instability, coupled with a breakdown of trust between government and people, humanitarian and development setback. All these reflect the increase in insurgency via terrorism, banditry, or whatever you are talking about. With the issue of social media presence, everyone can be present in social media, but we need to understand that the battle is in the space, as I've been saying over the years, that it is now time for global South nations to take care of their cyberspace. Let our AI surveillance approach to the space. Recently, I delivered a paper in South Africa about AI African sovereignty, that we should now be having our own AI cybersecurity drones, that the algorithms are written based on African needs.
So are you saying that the current arrangement right now, the current structure does not capture this? How is it that, for instance, if I tweet something, against, say, maybe the government or a government official, DSS is able to track me, but this bandit somewhere, in the bush, going live on these same platforms are working free?
There's what we call access. You are having access to the space, and no one is restricting that access. So you can configure it in such a way that DSS will have free access within a very short time. Let me give you an example. The US intelligence, they know how to scan the pages of public figure like me to monitor my methodology, my ideology, my mindset, my contribution. Even when this issue of genocide came about, 3 days before then, I can print out the blueprint on my verified Facebook account, and I can see that there are some expert move looking at apart from the issue of what I'm putting there. What I'm trying to tell you is this: the algorithm behind the AI or cybersecurity tools are not yours. The one the DSS, for example, is using is their own, is not their own. Maybe it's being configured by Microsoft or one of the top Meta or whatever, one of the top software provider. So at the end of the day, they can only do what they are allowed to do. And that's what I'm saying, that it is high time for us to have what we call the AI sovereignty. Let our own people begin to write the algorithm and hold the equipment. By so doing, our own peculiarities could have been configured within the system. That's what I'm saying here.
All right. I mean,
if you have studied my...
We will still come more to that. I mean, using the AI approach to resolving, this issue. But let's go on our very first break. When we return, we'll definitely dig more into this. Stay with us. We'll be right back. This is still Politics HQ on News Central Television. I still have my guest with me on the program, Adamu Garba, former APC presidential aspirant, joining virtually from Abuja. Dr. Khalifa Abbas, a public affairs analyst, and also Professor Emmanuel Ademola is a professor of cybersecurity and IT management. Gentlemen, thank you for staying with me. Mr. Adamu Garba, let me come back to you on this one. I'm still going to dwell on the effrontery these bandits and terrorists seem to have lately. We are seeing them still going back to them on being on social media, having some representation there, and even going as far as striking peace deals with communities. What does this reflect?
Thank you for this question, especially when it comes to the issue of them appearing on social media. You know, these terrorists appears to be less sophisticated. I mean, the frontline operatives, but behind them, they have very professionals that guide their procedure. They understood the processes of escaping the Nigerians' network connectivity systems. They don't leverage on these our towers to consume their internet services. In fact, most of them are using services like that of Starlink or satellite services. Some of them are also coming via a neighboring country like Niger Republic and Chad. These countries have their own network that our NCC and Nigerian regulations cannot be able to access. And that is why some of our intelligence in Nigeria is ineffective in trying to track them officially and arrest them. And that is the importance of our multilateral relationship with our neighbors. If we have had good relationship with Niger, you know, the initial fracas we had after the coup, if we had solved that problem, maybe it would have been easy to extend our relationship over there so that we cannot be able to have intelligence sharing that will help us to track them. But for now, if somebody is using a foreign network or maybe a satellite network to come on social media, you can't track him. The only way you can track him is when you have a relationship with the social media provider. And in most cases, the social media providers are not even Nigerian companies, so they escape this kind of situations.
So are you saying that we might just have a situation? Sorry to interrupt you. So are you saying that we might just have a situation where the DSS might not be so equipped to be able to track these individuals, maybe because their maybe configuration seems to be foreign, as against maybe an individual who just types or tweets anything and they pick him up?
Yes, you see, because these people that used to tweet and come online are operating within our service providers. They are using MTN, Glo, Airtel, and other Nigerian providers. They are leveraging on Nigerian towers. They are operating within Nigerian internet airspace, so they can easily be able to pick. But in a situation whereby you have a terrorist who is using Starlink, that is a satellite services, in a bush where he can access his internet wherever he is, you need Starlink to be able to track him. Now, do we have a relationship with the American government to the point whereby they can compel Starlink to supply us with this information? Or if this terrorist is using a Nigerian line, you know, line from Niger, or maybe line from Benin Republic, and then because most of them live around the borders or Chad, how are we going to work with them? You see, do we have a relationship that requires intelligence sharing with these our neighboring countries so that they can be able to enable us to have access to their central database and communication system to track these terrorists? These are the questions we need to answer. So our intelligence in Nigeria is highly, very efficient. In fact, one of the most efficient, effective, and potent organizations in Nigeria is the DSS. But everybody is limited by the tools they use. If the technology is not capable of capturing, maybe it's outside the basket of your control, of course there is nothing you can do.
All right.
What you also said regarding negotiation, this is actually an indication of failings of governance. A bandit coming among the people with weapons in the community, discussing with the government officials to be able to negotiate peace. And that peace does not require this bandit to drop these weapons, does not require them to remorse, does not require them to submit to the Nigerian judicial process, does not require them to go through prosecution, does not require them to repent and kind of show remorse about their activities. The negotiation is just about territorial control. Do we have to submit to this level? So it's actually very risky, and I don't think it is good for us to approach it that way. There is a way to work with them. Like it happened in Tillaberi, that's very neighboring Niger Republic. There's a way they did a negotiation. It's not a kind of a negotiation, but it's a process of reintegration that makes these terrorists to belong, to see themselves having sense of belonging. But in these cases, they have their list of demand that is
sorry, I'm going to come in here. I'm going to come in here. Sorry, please, 1 second. So you said that there is a way to go about, and this is me putting your words loosely, quote and unquote, working with these bandits? Maybe for want of words, you use the word negotiation. So I'm going to put it side by side with the positions of persons like Sheikh Gumi, who is also an advocate of amnesty and rehabilitation of these individuals. Is that what you're saying?
No. In fact, in my own case, I don't think there is any bandit or terrorist that should be negotiated with. If a terror is to be negotiated with, the terror have to submit to the authority of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The terror have to renounce terrorism, the terror have to drop its own weapons, and the terror have to come through prosecution of the Nigerian court system. That is the way. But the situation whereby you have to go with them, you leave them with their weapons, you leave them with almost all their arsenals of state destruction, and then claim that you are negotiating with them, it doesn't make sense. That's why I give you a situation of this Tilaberi. It's documented, it's there online. What happened in those areas was they are the same herdsmen, but their problem is that they were not integrated. They are not registered, they are not captured as citizens, there are no schools that is provided for them, there are no hospitals. The state did not recognize them as citizens, so they were always treated as foreigners. So the Tilaberi solution addresses their issues line by line. And addressing these issues require them to drop almost all their weapons, dropping all their own grievances, and now conform to the principle of the state establishment according to the constitution of that area of Niger, and is a border time between Niger and Mali.
But some would also ask, what happens to justice here? What happens to people that they have killed, the families that have lost loved ones or have been injured or devastated forever as a result of their activity? Please, in 30 seconds.
Yes, when you look at the Tilaberi solution, they established what is called Judicial Commission of Inquiry. They sat down. Some that committed crime openly confesses to their crime, and then it left to the family that the crime is committed against to either forgive or to seek prosecution. If there is need for prosecution, they pass through prosecution formally. And I guess if this happens, we may have a reconciliation.
All right, thank you very much. Let me direct the same question to Dr. Abbas. Dr. Abbas, I mean, what's also your position on what we are seeing with the modus operandi of these bandits and terrorists, those on social media, those reaching peace deals with communities, and this call by some individuals for amnesty and integration of these persons?
The whole concept of these criminals, in what they do, in how they do it, in who they do it to. If you understand what has been happening from 2009, the start of Boko Haram, until date, it has been a series of events from Boko Haram members to ISWAP members to kidnappers within the Kaduna Abuja Expressway, to moving back to Zamfara, moving back to Kebbi, moving back to Sokoto, now to Kwara, now to Niger. So if you get to understand, it's a whole different conversation. We need to understand the root of the problem before we can get to the solution. Because what we're discussing now, we're talking about whether we should actually give them amnesty or not. Are you sure that all of them are requesting for amnesty? Most of them are not remorseful about what they're doing. They're not ready to even step down and stop doing what they're doing. So we are the ones suggesting whether they should accept amnesty or whether we should accept amnesty for them or not, while 99% of them are not ready to even drop down their weapons.
I mean, sorry, on the issue of amnesty, it's not Nigerians suggesting, it's just some individuals. For instance, persons like Sheikh Gumi has been pretty much vocal on, amnesty and reintegration, rehabilitation of these individuals. So it's individuals like that one is making reference to.
Well, what I'm saying is, he said, I watched him, what he said, and I think he refers to those kind of events that happened before. He mentioned Ojukwu, he mentioned a lot of things that happened before, that most of the president give them amnesty for a betterness of the country. But what are we facing the same thing now? Are these people now ready to accept what we're going to give them? And what happened to the family of the people they killed? What happened to the thousands of people that lost their lives? Do you understand what actually happened in this country? What is happening in this country? So to me, I think the security agencies have a better way of the approach, a better approach to what is going on with the help of the foreign intervention from foreign governments that has better weapons, better accessibility to actually attack or to actually have a location of this kind of people. Because what I am saying here, it's not a major crime. It's not a crime that can just be faced within a day or two. It has to be go under surveillance, under series of surveillance from DSS to all the security agencies to make sure we can actually capture the people that were kidnapped back to us and arrest those that can be arrested. So by then, we get to actually put them to court and request for prosecution for them. So I don't think it's an opinion for us to decide their fates.
All right, thank you very much. We'll go on a quick break. All right, of course, before we go on that break, I'm meant to understand that I should still throw one more question. So I'll be coming to you. I'm still staying on you. Of course, I would like you to talk briefly in 30 seconds on what you feel as regards ransom payment. We've had cases where, I mean, the recent church abduction in Kwara State, where those that were abducted, quite a number of them was released, but it was pretty much sketchy as regards how the process went. One question that keeps popping up on the minds of many is, was ransom paid or not? How are these people released? Is Nigeria in this fight? Is it from a standpoint or a standpoint of advantage or disadvantage? Please, I'd like you to respond.
Well, sorry, I want to get this question straight. Are you talking about based on whether we should pay ransom or not?
I just want to know your opinion on the issue of ransom.
I think it goes sideways. It goes both ways, because if somebody is kidnapped from my own family and I have the money to actually pay the ransom for it, I'm going to go ahead and pay for it, because I don't have any other option. They have killed so many. They have left so many examples, killing a lot of people that you cannot joke with what they're saying. And what they're doing, they're playing with people's lives. So if you have the money, I cannot stop you from paying. But to those who don't have the money, I don't know what to say about them. I can't go ahead and say whether it's actually a good thing to continue or a bad thing to stop. I don't think it's my decision to make.
All right, we'll go on a quick break. When we return, the show continues. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ on News Central Television. I still have my guests with me on the program. Let me come back to you, Mr. Adamu Garba. Now, I would like to also ask you what your take is on the issue of payment of ransom, particularly when it comes to handling this matter, from a point of advantage. I'm talking about the government right now. We've seen several cases, a couple of cases where ransom is exchanged for the release of these individuals. And one question people keep asking afterwards is, what's the follow-up, right? What happens next? So in 30 seconds, I'd like your response before I, of course, direct the same question to Professor.
As Dr. Khalifa said, if it involves my family and that I love my family, so I will not let them go. So I will do whatever it takes to get them out. But then ransom, if it becomes state-sponsored, it is simply terrorism financing. Because the more you give money to the terrorists, in the name of freeing civil people they capture, the more they use the same money to acquire more lethal weapons to continue their enterprise, and which is kidnapping and also killing and destruction. So if it is state-sponsored, it's actually pure terrorism financing. But if it is at an individual level, of course, we have to do everything possible to save our families from that kind of danger.
But what does this also reflect when ransom seems to be almost the first point of approach on these matters?
I don't want to call it state failure, but I think it's a reflection of state weakness, inability to be able to degrade this terror to the point whereby they cannot be able to get into the city and pick ordinary Nigerians. So when the state cannot provide the protection for life and property of the citizens, which is the first constitutional duty, the ungoverned space that is left bare, that's what the terrorists leverage to do what they do. That is really very dangerous for us, and we need to up our game as a nation.
All right, Professor, I'd also direct the same question to you, but I'd like you to also speak in lieu of what you call your AI approach to resolving this matter. How do you think this can sort of work hand in hand to make this issue of abductions, killings, a thing of the past?
I'm speaking from technical point of view, so I just want to make things more clearer. You will know that I've proposed a tripod model for the government in handling these matters. Let me put it to you, my friend. You just need to disrupt criminal networks. That's the first thing you do. Disrupt their network. Kidnapper, insurgents, traffickers. The increase, particularly using social media, because that's a major source of intelligence now. Either you want to take it or you want to leave it. If you are still looking at insecurity as physical alone, then you have big beast in your hand. Insecurity today should be more viewed more as digital than physical. There's physical element to it, like when I proposed the foreign ranger to man our forest, I also proposed the drone rangers approach to it, whereby we have our own drones to gather intelligence, to prevent all this attack. I've put it there. But what I'm putting to you now is this. Disrupt their coordinating nervous system, the central system, the recruitment system, even the ransom negotiation you are talking about. You remember what happened recently in the war between Hezbollah and Israel? You hear about pager, what Israel did, because they have realized that this war is more of digital than physical. Yes, that's what I'm saying. We need to tighten up our cybersecurity laws, make our technology peculiar, indigenous, for our own use. That's why I was talking about algorithm the other time. Let Nigerian minds, Nigerian security mind, information technology, those who write algorithm, write the algorithm, the drone is executing. That's the way to go about it. Disrupt right from the provider, disrupt their criminal networks, paralyze it.
All right.
Make sure that nothing occurs to them in reality.
All right.
Blind them. That's what I'm trying to say here. You tighten up the cybersecurity law, the digital forensic, the platform accountability. For example, when you are talking about ransom now, don't you know that the more you pay ransom, the more you embolden these people? Don't you know the more you pay ransom, the more you...
I would like to also believe, I would like to also believe that the government is pretty much aware of this, because when you look at how the sophistication in terms of weaponry too, one would wonder how they're able to finance it. But I'll come back to you, Professor, shortly. Let me direct my next question to you, Doctor. Now, Doctor, there are, you know, will I call it proposals that private citizens, being the first point of contact when these attacks happen, should be allowed to bear arms legally. People should be allowed to self-defense, right? For that reason, maybe carry guns and what of that, you know, get licenses and all. What's your position on it, Doctor? Did you get my question? Did you get my question? Dr. Abbas, I'm talking to you.
Okay. Well, that is a different conversation. Because when you allow private citizens to start carrying weapons, then I don't know where we're getting to. But I can go forward and talk about state policing that we've been anticipating. And I think it's one of the things that would actually employ a lot of youth in terms of having securities in every single community. If we can all secure our communities by ourselves, so I think we can actually secure our lives. But having license to individuals to carry weapons, you can see what is going on in America. You can see what's going on in America without banditry. You can see how blacks are killing blacks, whites are killing blacks, black killing whites. So I think it's something that has to be looked upon very well before it can be agreed to.
All right. How about you, Adamu Garba, on the issue of self-defense and the recent one also being state policing?
Security and that understanding of human rights laws does not reach to the level where we can now bear arms as ordinary individuals, because people will just use it against their ordinary enemies, and somebody can blame somebody for something. I can give you an example. What even actually started these things as banditry has to do with because the herdsmen in the villages, some of them decided to carry weapons for self-defense. And because this group had more weapons than the other, they used the weapons to go and rustle the other group's cattle. And those other groups and their cattle were rustled also began to feel like, okay, so in this case, we should also go and acquire weapons so we can continue cattle rustling. So that's exactly how the thing started until it get to us. And this started since 1990s. So when you look at the trajectory, acquiring weapons leads to more danger, especially to us in Nigeria. So this will not be the solution. So the best solution is to find a way to create security, the community security approach. You know, typical like what Dr. Abbas mentioned, the state policing or community level policing. I even prefer a community level policing where traditional rulers are actively involved in designing the security architecture of their domain. Since they have been there for long, historically, in generational structure, they know who is who, and they knew how to create a security to define any a stranger that comes into the environment, any person that is trying to be reneged. So I think this is what we need to do. But the situation whereby we don't have a regulation and everybody should just acquire weapons, I think it will be in a more dangerous situation.
All right. Thank you very much. We'll go on a quick break. When we return, we'll be taking our final thoughts. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Many thanks for staying with us. It's still Politics HQ on News Central Television, and of course we are at the final moments of today's episode. Well, I still have my guest with me, but quickly in 30 seconds, let me start with you, Dr. Khalifa Abbas. What do you, in 30 seconds, suggest as a permanent solution to this matter? If you were to advise or make recommendations for the government, how do you propose that this issue be nipped in the bud?
It's a deep one, but I will try in being specific about what I think will actually change our narrative to what is happening. And first of all, we'll have to stop doing the politics with people's lives. We have to understand that everywhere around the world are doing politics, but nobody is killing anybody. Because in as much as we fail to understand what is happening, all this that's happening is about politics. It's about what we have. It's about what we have as natural resources in this country. It's about the world power that will not allow us to actually live in peace, because we have what they want and they need to come and get it through all these chaos that they're actually creating. So in as much as we can discuss of how to get a solution of what is happening, then we also have to understand that this is what we're actually facing. And our local politicians need to understand that every single human life that is being taken under their jurisdiction, with their knowledge of what is happening, they're actually going to go and face God, to actually face their judgment. In as much as this world, you can actually be here today and die tomorrow. So I think that the permanent solution is for us to be Nigerians first, before anything.
All right. How about you? Of course, Adamu Garba, if you were to make recommendations for the government in 30 seconds.
Number one, I think we need to reform our criminal justice system in Nigeria. You see what actually enabled this banditry and kidnapping and terrorism. Most of them have to hide behind certain injustice done to them. If you track the history of Bello Turji, you will see that something happened against his family member, and he started looking for justice from the traditional, legal system up to the courts, but he couldn't get justice according to him, and that's why he has to go to the bush, look for Buhari Ndaji, and then become a bandit and started terrorizing people. So I think we need to reform our criminal justice system. Let the people trust that the justice system can guarantee them justice regardless of the issues that they face. If we get this right, we get the good one first. Number two, we seek foreign help, and I think I will recommend Russian military technology to assist us.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. Of course, I would have loved to take more opinions, but I'm made to understand that we need to go. Many thanks to our guest this evening, Adamu Garba, former APC presidential aspirant, joining virtually from Abuja, Dr. Khalifa Abbas, public affairs analyst also from Abuja, and Professor Emmanuel Ademola, professor of cybersecurity and IT management. Once again, gentlemen, thank you for your time. Well, this, of course, is the beat we can take tonight. In case you missed out, you can catch up on our YouTube platform. That's at News Central TV. You can also follow us on social media. The handle is there on your screen. You can choose to follow me personally at Dakpo, at Digboye. Until I come your way again, good night.